decision is yours.
So, Tanner, I've been working at this place that's making effervescent tablets, right?
Okay.
And there's this new flavor, and some of the guys I was working with made this whole lot of this new flavor. And then the next day, they find out that they have to throw out the whole lot because the coloring is off, and that means that something's wrong with the mixture. Turns out they had a bad batch. Hi, welcome to the Bomb Batch, episode 3.
The second you said it's because the mixtures are bad, I went, I know where this is going. And it was still great. Welcome to episode 3. I am Tanner Richard Kraft once again.
I am Tim Sullivan.
All right, Tim. Today we are talking about episodes 9, 10, 11, and 12 of The Bad Batch. Season 1, I don't know if they're going to do more seasons, but we're talking about those episodes in Season 1. If this is being watched in the year 3751, you know what's going on.
Why the fuck are you watching our channel at that point?
Why are you here? Go have sex with your robots or whatever.
The future we all want.
What did you think of this batch of episodes overall?
You know, I mean, I think it's kind of continuing in the trend of having one or two really strong episodes and some fine episodes. So yeah, like the episode 9. So I guess I should address the elephant in the room. So in the previous episode, I had said I really hope that in the next episode they don't just immediately rescue Omega.
They immediately rescued Omega. I was thinking about that. I went,
I think they took that in an interesting direction, though. So I'm not too salty about that. I just think it's funny in hindsight. But yeah, so basically what we largely get out of this section of episodes is we find out what makes Omega this valuable commodity. We start to see a little more of the Empire occupation of all of these planets, and we're starting to see we're seeing Crosshair sort of get further into his vendetta.
yeah.
Yeah.
I more or less agree. Gonna be honest, after watching episode 9, 10, 11, 12. After watching episode 11, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right, that's the 4 episodes we watched, right?
Correct.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know how I forgot. I literally watched them all this morning before recording because I was like, I want them as fresh in my memory as possible so I don't have anything like last time where I said, I don't remember this episode at all. And Tim, I'm going to be honest with you. I still don't remember these episodes at all.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what happened with the first one, where I watched most of those episodes right before recording, and so it didn't really have enough time to fully process,
Yeah.
I guess.
That was a mistake. I thought that'd be a smart decision because I was sick and tired of not remembering these episodes that well. But at this point, is it really my fault if the episodes are failing to be that memorable?
That's fair.
There's most certainly things to enjoy. 9, 10, 11, I was like, man, do I just not like this show? Is this just like a show that I can recognize the artistic value in but just not enjoy? I was worried that was an episode. And then episode 12 happened, and I was like, I think I get it now. I think this show has clicked for me, and I think I'm locked in.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll get to that, of course, when we talk about those episodes. But for now, let's just get it started with episode 9, Bounty Lost, which I will admit, I think this was a good episode. I remember more than I remember 10 and 11. But we'll start with you. What do you think of this episode overall, Tim?
Yeah, I would say this episode as a whole is probably, in my opinion, the strongest of the 4. Just because it's it's picking up right where episode 8 left off, and episode 8 was such a strong episode. And we're seeing the aftermath of Cad Bane taking Omega, and the Bad Batch dealing with Crosshair chasing after them, and we get a real great fight between Cad Bane and good old Fennec Shand, which was really cool because those two characters previously were just kind of on different ends of the Star Wars timeline. Like we have Cad Bane in prequel era and Fennec in post original trilogy era. So this is the first time we've had them cross paths. So it was cool to see them fight. So yeah, that made it a fun episode, and we learn a little more about what makes Omega special. She's one of the two clones that is like the pure DNA of Jango Fett, which the other one is obviously Boba Fett, who they refer to as Alpha, which that makes the Omega name make a lot more sense. We've got Alpha and Omega.
Beginning and the end, all that stuff, which... So you're okay with that?
Yeah, I think that's a neat concept.
I was a bit 50-50 on it. On one hand, I'm like, yeah, that's cool. On the other hand, really? Oh, we just have another Boba, but it's a girl? Like, it felt a little lazy, but I think they're doing it in an interesting enough way where it ultimately doesn't matter. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really affect Omega's character. It's more just an explanation why everyone else is obsessed with her.
Right.
But it did feel like a classic Disney Star Wars move of being like, you know that thing you like? This is like
There's
that.
more.
Yeah, exactly. More! More! You like Rogue One? We'll give you Rogue 2. We'll give you an entire Diego Luna show. And I'd be like, huh, why?
Did you like Boba Fett? You know, he had a dad. You know, he had clones. There's a whole lot of fucking Boba Fetts.
More Boba, baby! Overall, though, I think this is a solid episode. I think the highlight of the episode is Fennec Shand and Cad Bane's duel. It's really cool in this abandoned facility. It's great action. It's some of the best action the show has had so far. And it's really... this is actually... The central theme of these 4 episodes seems to be... I'm starting to realize that this show is called The Bad Batch. I think Omega is far and away the main character, it feels like.
I think you could make that argument, yeah.
I think the show revolves around her, and if not just her, it's her and Hunter, which is what I've been saying since the beginning. The other Bad Batch characters feel more secondary, which I get it. They're the more gimmicky ones. Hunter is the closest to just being a dude.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of interesting... Again, the animation looks amazing as usual. You can't deny that Disney is putting their money where their mouth is. Which I appreciate. As someone who likes things that are good and pretty, I like The Bad Batch. No, it's a solid, fun episode. I had a lot of fun with it, and it was good seeing both Fennec Shand and Cad Bane again. Cad Bane's voice actor is so good. It's so good. But I like this episode. Yeah. It's the best out of 9 through 11. My favorite episode of this batch is, of course, 12. But 9 through 11, I would say this is my favorite one of that bunch. But I don't have too much to say beyond what I've already said. Unless... So do you have anything further to say about 9, Tim?
I think that's about it. Pretty much covered it.
There's going to be another one where we spend like 0 time talking about 2 episodes and then spend the rest of the time talking about 2 more.
What a deal.
In that case, let's go ahead and move on to episode 10, Common Ground. I forgot what happened. I'm going to be straight up with you. I don't remember what happened.
Yeah, this is honestly, I would say the weakest one out of this batch of episodes. Maybe the weakest one yet. But basically what we get out of this episode is We're seeing this leader who is trying to be a voice for the oppressed as the Empire is taking their what's the word? They're sort of the Empire is just sort of taking over this planet, and this leader is trying to be a voice of the oppressed, say no, I'm not going to let this campaign take over us or whatever. And so he gets arrested, and the Bad Batch has to kind of rescue him. And meanwhile, Omega is at the bar with Sid, and she starts playing this. She starts playing the claymation game from the original film, which we kind of see pop up in like Rebels. I think it might have been in Clone Wars. I'm not sure. It's kind of fun just seeing that little small bit of the original film kind of crop up in all of these later titles. So yeah, she's playing that, and she's paying off the Bad Batch's debt. So it's kind of another thing of Omega trying to not be a burden, trying to help the group in her own way. So that's kind of neat. But yeah, I mean, as a whole, the episode is not super memorable. Like Tanner was saying, like he doesn't remember anything about it. That's about all I remember of it. Is just like the very surface level of it.
Yeah, now that you described the plot, I remember that scene where the senator's like, I have to stay behind and help my people. And the Bad Batch is like, are you fucking dumb?
Yeah.
I remember Hunter being like, all right, we'll play this weird Star Wars original trilogy chess game if you want to join us on missions again. There's like I said, just a weak episode, and I think you kind of hit the nail on your head when this is definitely the weakest of this batch. I think it's the weakest of the show. I there's nothing at all memorable to it to me. It felt like filler. Because where are we before this episode started, and where are we after this episode started? The only actual difference to me is that they don't owe a debt to Sid anymore. That didn't seem to matter anyway.
Yeah, there's that, and like it kind of sets up sort of where the next two episodes are kind of picking up, where it's kind of showing more of the Empire expanding their campaign throughout the galaxy. So we're seeing it happen on this one planet, and then we're seeing it happen in I can never remember the name of the planet with the
Ryloth?
Ryloth, yeah. So yeah, it's kind of just a setup of showing this is what's happening across the galaxy, and it's about to happen in planets that are actually relevant to the story now.
Yeah. I guess on some level it's again interesting to see. This was like what I liked about those first four episodes is this building up of the Empire thing. And I think they're kind of tapping into that again, and that's kind of interesting. It's very interesting just to see the Empire. At first I thought, wow, it's kind of quick that the Empire took over this easily, and now I'm starting to see they aren't.
Yeah.
Which good. Nazi space punks can fuck off. All right. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about episode 10 other than it's not. I want to emphasize these episodes aren't terrible bad. I have seen bad television. I have seen bad Star Wars television. I have seen bad Star Wars animation. All right.
Yes, I too have watched the Ewok series.
I watched all of season 1 of Star Wars Resistance, and I don't know why.
I did too, and I wouldn't say it's bad. I would say it's not for adults.
Yeah, I the entire time I went, man, this show's really kid heavy, and I just kind of like a bolt started turning in my head. I was like, oh, because it's for children, dipshit.
Yeah.
You're not the target fucking audience. Oh. Yeah, so I mean, it's not, but like, if you like this episode, more power to you. I wish I could. In that case, the next episode then is episode 11, which is when the show, I think is starting to build towards what its overall climax will be as a season, which is
Mhm.
the Devil's Deal. This episode is the one where like they go to Ryloth. The senator's like, "Oh, we're gonna." Senator's like, "Twi'leks, rise up, rise against your oppressors," and we meet someone from Star Wars Rebels. Tim, I'll give you the honors.
Oh yeah, we see a young Hera Syndulla, and she still has the Ryloth accent, which is a nice touch. The couple of times she goes back to Ryloth in Rebels, her accent kind of starts to slip back, which is to talk about Rebels. That's kind of a nice subtle touch as well there. But yeah, we see her still here, still young, and like still living with her father, and she's got our boy Chopper, the war criminal of the decade.
Or we stand Chopper, the greatest war criminal of all time.
Chopper is the only one that gets a pass.
He gets the war crime pass.
True.
Yeah, this episode I don't remember that much. I remember the next episode way more. But there's some
Yeah.
good stuff going on here. They catch Era doing her things. Rampart, the guy who's been like the Empire guy of the show so far, shows how much of an idiot he is. It seems because I don't know. It seems like he doesn't know what he's doing. Are you getting that vibe from that guy?
I mean, I'm not really sure, but yeah.
I don't know. I think it's nice that the Empire are a bunch of dipshit morons, and
Good.
we don't meet Hauser until next episode, right?
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure he's introduced in the next episode.
Yeah, I guess another thing to say while we're still on this one is like seeing Hera and her father and the animation of this episode. Like we kept saying that the animation looks incredible in this show, and like seeing those characters in this animation, it's like something like it's familiar, but it's different, and it's
Yeah,
really cool.
yeah. This kind of highlights the difference between Rebels and Clone Wars / Bad Batch styles pretty well, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah, Vader looks great in Rebels. Wow, Bad Batch. Watched him and Tanner talk about the Bad Batch, where they spend more time talking about other Star Wars cartoons than the Bad Batch. Yeah. Um, I don't really have much more to say about episode 11 because everything I want to talk about is episode 12, specifically the ending. So
Let's go to episode 12.
All right, episode 12, Rescue on Ryloth. In this episode, Era contacts Omega to help the Bad Batch rescue her parents. And Hunter's like, "Oh, this sounds dumb." But Omega's like, "Pretty please." And Hunter's like, "Fine." They attack the oil refinery. Echo and Hunter free the parents and other freedom fighters. Crosshair discovers it and sets a trap. And yada 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 yada. I'm just describing the episode's plot. What did you think of episode 12, Tim?
I thought that it was a solid episode. It was a good way to round out the little double parter, and I think like what we see kind of at the end with Crosshair getting permission to hunt them down, like that's gonna be the big setup for what we're getting in the next 4 episodes, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So I think that was like I was kind of saying, like episode 9 was a strong episode for me, and then 10 and 11 kind of had me feeling like I don't know, this show might be losing its touch, but then seeing that at the end of episode 12, it was like I think there's still something there. I think
Like, yeah.
that was the saving grace, sort of.
Specifically for me, it's Crosshair being given permission to hunt them down. I'm like, shit's about to get real. And then also
Yeah.
for me, it's when Captain Hauser, someone who, as far as we know, is a normal clone trooper who was placed under the effects of Order 66 in a leading role, resists that program, and he's like, what the Empire is doing is wrong. So he helps the Bad Batch. And what's crazy to me here is I think there are two plot threads we're going to see going forward here. Crosshair hunting the Bad Batch. I think there's going to be a clone civil war or something like that. I think we're about to see a rebellion on Kamino, which we have seen depicted in other Star Wars media. Most famously is the original Battlefront 2. That was a campaign mission. I don't know if you played that game, but
I have not, but I've heard it's good.
it's a good game, and that's an awesome mission where you play as the 501st and with Boba Fett as the Empire hunt, and there's a clone rebellion on Kamino. In that context, it's because the Kaminoans kept cloning people unauthorized. I think in this context, it's going to be we find out that their inhibitor chips aren't perfect. And if anything, they wear off. Great time for hiccups. This is in the middle of a recording. What do you think? And not to mention, I think the inhibitor chip might be wearing off on Cross. The inhibitor chip might be wearing off on Crosshair a little bit too, because he didn't take the kill shot on Captain Hauser like I thought he would.
Yeah.
He just told them to arrest them, and I'm just like, what's going on here? I think it's clear to me that the inhibitor chips wear off over time. I think we're going to see a clone uprising, which is going to end tragically for the Crones as they get their asses handed to them. But I think it'll be nice to see them stand up in defiance of the Empire for the Republic one last time. I think we're going to see that. And I'm setting myself up here. They're not going to show us that probably, and I'm going to be disappointed. It's my own damn fault. But I'm hoping we see something like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool, and like kind of I guess that would be a good way to sort of resolve the existence of the clones, because they're no longer a thing by the time OT is happening.
By the time Rebels is happening, I'm pretty sure.
Well, yeah, but by the time Rebels is happening, we have like those 3 surviving clones. We have Rex, and then Gregor and Wolf.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking they're going to be the last remaining survivors at that point. Maybe we see Rex, Gregor, and Wolf involved in something happening here. That could be interesting.
Yeah. I would love to see that, because we still don't know how they got their chips removed, which is interesting. This is a great setup for these final 4 episodes, and I really hope these final 4 episodes knock it out of the park, because I really want to love this show more than I have. The pilot was so good. Was so good. And just everything since then, it's just been fine. Not bad, but
it's been a lot of peppering in the good stuff here and there. Like I still think, besides the pilot, the strongest episodes for me are 7 and 8 by far.
I would agree. That's where the show has peaked beyond the pilot for me. Again, honorable mention to 12, because I really do like episode 12, just specifically the last 5 minutes of it. So I mean, I guess I brought up what I wanted to see come next, mostly because it's what the ending's giving me to work off of here. So, but do you have any departing thoughts about 12 at all, or are you like me, wherever any thoughts you do have is kind of reserved at the ending?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've basically covered it.
Well, I guess while we're at the end here, do you have any departing thoughts about these 4 episodes in general, and what are you hoping to see next, if anything?
Yeah, I mean, I guess what I would say largely is I would say that this section of episodes was, again, like really strong first episode there, and then the last episode ended on a note that kept me hooked. The in-between was not great for me. Like it again, not bad. Like they're perfectly fine episodes, but they were not giving me as much to really be interested in. But I think the last 4 episodes hopefully will be interesting because now we're getting into Crosshair hunting them down, and I'm interested to see how sort of the stuff they've been setting up throughout the show kind of starts to pay off.
Right.
Hopefully it pays off because we don't want another Army of the Dead situation.
I think I almost wonder if it's an issue with me and how I'm approaching these shows. A lot of the TV shows I've been watching lately this year have been the Marvel shows and Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. Shows that are famous for having, like, most of them, with the exception of Breaking Bad, having 10 episodes a season or under. So I'm wondering if I'm just so used to so much content being packed in an episode that a 16 season, 30-minute episode thing is just so what I've not been used to lately, and if I'm approaching it wrong, I don't know. Or if it's just genuinely weak.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I really have not been watching a lot of, like, weekly content, which I prefer weekly stuff to like the binge model, which we talked about on our very first podcast, which was not great. But that part of it was great. The rest of it, I don't know. We've gotten stronger.
A lot better.
But yeah, like I just there hasn't, and I guess this is just a lot of me kind of being busy. Usually when I'm watching like a 26 episode anime or something, though, I'll usually like watch 2 to 4 episodes a week. I have like my whole week scheduled. It's weird. But yeah, I'll usually watch a couple episodes a week and get through the show within a couple weeks. So I'm usually not watching 16 episodes in 16 weeks. So I kind of get what you're saying there. But yeah, it's definitely paced a lot differently than a lot of our cable dramas and like our streaming stuff, because it's usually around 10 to 13 episodes, and like they have this plot point in this episode, this plot point in this episode. But then we also are dealing with, like, Netflix basically makes long movies and cuts them into 8 episodes. So that's a whole other pacing issue for a whole separate podcast on why the binging model's bad.
Just the entire podcast. Binging sucks, you guys. I don't understand people. I remember when, like, Marvel shows, or when WandaVision was coming out, someone was saying, this would be good if I could just binge it. And I'm just like, what? You lose half of what made that show any special if you do that.
Listen, Rain Conversi, why don't you just settle down?
Yeah, I hope these last 4 episodes bring it home. I'm excited to see it. This is not a bad show. It's just not the show I was expecting at the beginning.
It's not a bad show, but it's a bad batch.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. And we got you. We're going to insert a Soldier Boy clip or something. You. Thank you very much for watching this episode of The Bomb Batch. We really appreciate it. Go ahead and comment below to let us know, what do you think of these past 4 episodes? What do you think of the Bad Batch overall so far? What do you think of the binging model versus the non-binging model? Let us know. Are we wackos? I don't know. I hope not. While you're down there, go ahead and hit the like button so we know how much you like us. Hit the subscribe button so we know how much you love us. And hit the bell icon so you can know exactly when we upload new videos. Thank you oh so very much for watching, guys. And I will see you next time.
Slid my ticket across the table and I said, sorry guys, I gotta see about a girl.